Okay, today is the day. I was doing, I found a leak on my rear axle. I thought it was the brake caliper, but it turned out to be a leaky axle seal that I just changed a couple years ago, but it's leaking because it's dry rotted. So I have to change my axle seals. These are the new ones I got. I figured while I'm changing the axle seals, I'm gonna go ahead and put this Powertrax locker in there since I have to take the axles out anyway. So no more procrastination. I guess today is the day. So we'll get started with that. Cool. So you want to jack up your vehicle here, get it nice and high, give yourself some room, and you always want to use sturdy jack stands. So once you're on jack stands, next thing you're going to want to do is take your tires off, obviously. Girly, put you inside. I have wheel spacers that are hub-centric. What I noticed was I was doing something else and I noticed all this grease on the inside of the tire. I wasn't sure what it was at first. I thought it was maybe brake fluid. It was on the other side, on the driver's side there, so I switched sides to see if it did it again, and it did. Got it on the other tire, so I thought maybe I had a leaky brake caliper, but I took all that off and found out I had a leaky axle seal. So in my case, I have these wheel spacers, and I gotta crack those loose. I gotta use a thin wall socket on them, because a regular impact will not fit in there. Get that. So then the next thing you're going to want to do is to take the brake caliper off, and it's a 15, I guess. So the two bolts are off the caliper. That just comes off, and you can set it up here, or you know, hang it off something so you're not putting any stress on this line. And you got to take your oh, I forgot I got the emergency brake on, but once I take that off, then you'll take this off. So the next thing you're going to want to do is to drain the rear axle. And what I've always done is just to take off the back cover, but I just discovered recently that I've got this drain under here. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'm just going to pull this drain plug out. Oh, there we go. So yeah, that's a lot nicer. So now it's not going to spill all over when I pull the cover off. So while you're waiting for this to drain out, you can take this cover off. So that's all the bolts off there, and then you just got to pry the cover off. I didn't bring anything to do that, so I will go get that. So you just want to pry the cover off. Oh, something fell. And there it is. That is the inside of my rear end, so to speak. So you're gonna want to scrape all this silicone off of here. Last time I used the blue stuff, that's all I had. I regret it now. I got some gray or black stuff. I don't know which one I'm going to use. Probably going to go with the black stuff. I have to see which one. Here are the parakeets. This is a nifty little scraper here I got off Amazon. Comes with regular razor blades, stainless steel razor blades, regular ones. Comes with carbon steel razor blades, and it comes with some plastic ones. So that's cool. I'll put that in the description as well. So that's it. You just, you want to keep this clean and cleared off, and then the cover, you're going to clean that off too. So I'll do that probably off camera, and I will come back to you. So the next thing you're going to want to do, I forgot to mention, you got to take the drive shaft out so you can turn the rear end. Slight oversight. So once you get the drive shaft out, then you need to take this bolt, and what I've done is I've just got a screwdriver wedged in here to keep it from turning. You can also use a rag. I've seen people stuff a rag in here, but I got a screwdriver in there, so that's going to keep it from turning. I hate the way this 90 weight smells. I don't know what that is, if that's sulfur or whatever. Okay, so there's that pin, or bolt that holds the pin in. Sometimes you want to replace that because it gets rounded off. Mine's getting there. I thought I ordered one with the axle seals, but apparently I did not because it didn't come with them. So that's out. So next thing you got to do is pull this pin out here, so you can take my screwdriver out of there. Let's see if I can get my hand back there, and here it comes. It slides right out. And the locker comes with a new one, so you don't really need to keep that. So I'm going to turn it so I can push the axles in and get the C-clips out. I will come right back. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. As you turn it, the spider gears will come out, and you want to pull those out along with the shims. Hopefully you can see that. When I push the axles in, the C-clips basically just fell right out. And then you can just push the axles back out. So I'm going to go do that now. So after you pull out the C-clips, take off that bolt, this little bolt that holds the pin in, take the pin out. After you get all that out, then you just turn it, and then these little spider gears will fall out. You want to make sure there's like a washer on the back of them, and you want to get that out with them too. As you turn it, they'll just fall out. And then on the sides in here, this gear will sit in the side of here like that, and you just pull that out. It just comes right out, and there's some shims on the back of that. You want to pull those out with it. That's what the instructions from Powertrax say. So I'm going to replace my seals. I'm not going to record that because that's not what this video is about. So I'm going to replace that seal on that side. Actually, I'm going to replace them both just because I got it apart. I got some brand new seals. This one looks fine, but that one's completely, I don't know, must have been a bad seal. Probably sitting on a shelf somewhere for years and it got dry rotted. But I'm going to do that, and I'll come back and start the install of the Powertrax. Okay, so now I've gotten everything out and I am ready to reassemble the locker. These are the side gears. They go in first. The widest part between the gears right here, where my thumb is, that's supposed to face away from you towards the front of the truck, and you're supposed to grease it up pretty good on the face. So I'm holding the GoPro with one hand. I didn't want to put it on my head because I'm sideways, and I'm sure you guys don't want to watch a sideways video, so I'm holding it on a little tripod for right now, close enough so you can see the detail of this little space. And that's supposed to, let me set this down, it's supposed to ride on this thing here. Goes in that space like this, like that right there. That little tab is supposed to fit in between there, and that's where the center pin goes through. But anyway, I'm going to grease that up and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Well, I wanted to make a, oh, by the way, greetings YouTube. Wanted to make a video follow-up, an ending, a rather disappointing ending to the video for my locker install, as it got up to the point of me taking my truck all apart, and I went to install this, which I bought off of eBay, and it's the right number on the box. And I looked it all up. It looked like it would work, but once I got it all apart and tried to install it, I discovered it would not fit. So I scrapped it, just put the spider gears back in, and contacted the seller. He was more than gracious, returned my money, and let me keep this because it's pretty much useless unless I can figure out what it's for, which I don't think I can, because they're the same. See all the little marks I put on here with a pencil. Counting the splines, there's 31, and so it doesn't even fit the axles. So even if this part was right, these side gears are not the right side gears. They don't go on my axles. They're too big for one, and there are too many splines for another, so they're not for my truck. I don't know what they're for. And then you look at this part, the center part that turns, and the rep from Powertrax said that these parts right in here, these, I forget what they're called, but he said that was the right part number for my truck. These markings, he said, were correct. But, you know, something I noticed when I looked at it, if you look at it here, this one sticks out further. This one here sticks out further than this one. And this spring that's supposed to go in there, if you try to put that spring in there, it's gonna, there's no way, I mean, you can see the little pocket it goes in. So the spring would be sitting like, you know, that, like pointed out. And it's the same on the other side. I don't know how well that comes across on the camera there, but this one sticks out, oh, I don't know, a good 1/4 inch past this one. So the spring's going to be like this. So I don't think these are the same. So I don't know what it's for. I don't blame the seller. He had the box, and the box says that's the part number. There's a bunch of markings on here, but I guess the guy at Powertrax didn't know what these meant. He said this corresponded with the right thing for my truck, but you know, those don't do me any good by themselves. So, long story short, all this is paperweight. Unless I know, and even if I knew what these were for, I don't know if these go together because it looks completely different. I mean, look at where that spring would come out. Let me see if I, what do I have? Something handy. Well, here's a paper clip. Whoops, dropped it. Had a paper clip. See this paper clip? I'll use it to illustrate. If the spring were coming out of there straight out, that's where it sits in the pocket right there. See? It comes and it lines directly up with this one. So if you had the spring in there, it'd be sitting like this. It's not even. You can see when you have them like that how much closer this one is to the inside than that one. So I don't even think these go to the same thing. I mean, see how much closer, let me set this down, how much closer this little pocket for that spring sits to here, right there. And then this one, how much more space there is than that one right there. So the spring that goes in here that's supposed to, you know, push them apart, it would be at an extreme angle. If you ever got it, you know, if you got it in there even. See what a difference that is? It's like from there to there. It's like a good maybe quarter inch. So this is a paperweight, like I said. Very disappointing. I was really looking forward to having this in there. And, you know, I did all that work. I guess good news is I had to replace an axle seal anyway, so it wasn't a total waste of time. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the my failure video. I didn't even show doing the axle seals, so I guess I could have made it an axle seal video, but I cut that part out thinking, well, that's not relevant to the locker. So I cut it out, and now the video is just basically a fail video. So enjoy my failure and learn from your mistakes. See you on the next one.